So this is a tutorial of how to make your own World War II minifigures. So I'm going to give you a few options because there's basically a few different ways you could go based on how much time you want to put in and your price point, the amount of money you got. So your first option is to buy a printed minifigure. So United Bricks, this one's from, they do some really good figures and I would recommend them. They are quite expensive though, but for any printed minifigure they're going to be quite expensive, but they are the best option you can kind of get if you want to pay £10 to £15 for a figure. They are really good, but some people, if you're going to buy 10, 20 figures, that's quite a lot of money to put aside. The next option is, so these are my custom figures and they are made using Waterslide Decals. So you buy the Waterslide decals, you cut them out, the decal, and then you dip them in water and they kind of peel away from the backing and then you stick them onto the figure. I then give them a coating. You can see where they're quite glossy, if I put the lighting right, he says. So you can see they're a little bit glossy. I do a clear coat of paint just to kind of protect them, where I'm going to be animating with them or not. I need them to have some kind of protection. But these are quite a good option. It's a much cheaper option. You basically buy the Waterslide decals online and then you can do the application all by yourself. You need to have a clear or a blank minifigure part, minifigure torso, to be able to put these on. So you've got two options there. You can either buy a blank minifigure torso, which they do. Some colours, like this olive colour, is a bit more expensive as a blank part. So what I also do, you can buy like a printed minifigure part and then you can rub out the actual print. So if you get cotton wool and then dip it in some alcohol or alcohol rub, you can then rub that off. Or you can use something called grass soap, which also rubs off the print but keeps the colour. So that's an option. I'll show you where you can buy the actual minifig parts as well at the end. So I'll show you how to use Bricklink, which is where I get all my minifigure parts. That's one option. Then similar to that, but a lot easier and a lot cheaper, is how I used to do mine when I started animating, and it is sticker decals. So you basically get a decal and you can make them yourself, you can buy them online. There's some people who put them online for free. And then you basically print them onto sticky paper and then you cut them out and you stick them onto a minifigure part. And that is, you can see that one came off. These are about 10 years old. But yeah, they do the part basically. If you're starting out, this is a really good option to have when you're starting out animating on YouTube or just making figures. So that's a good option, quite cheap option as well. Final option I've got is just finding a part which you think looks good. So a minifigure part which looks good. So say for this one, I used this in my D-Day video. So it's quite a good part. It's not too expensive as well. I think they cost like maybe 50p for each torso. So pretty good. Those ones I use sometimes with the tan figures. These ones I used for my Pacific videos. So I think this was from one of the Hobbit figures. I think it was a Frodo or Bilbo Baggins torso or something. But yeah, those are quite good. And then that one was another one I used quite a lot for tan figures. And this one's quite good for dark tan figures. So if you don't want to, basically this is the quickest and cheapest way to do it. If you just find a minifigure part which you think looks good enough to actually be a World War II figure. So those are your options of what you can do. Then if we look at kind of parts, so all of my weapons, helmets are bought from Brick Arms. Well, they're not bought from Brick Arms, they're bought from a reseller. So the one I use is, again, United Bricks in the UK. So I buy all my parts from there. And they're pretty decent. I'll show you the website, but I'll show you the Brick Arms website as well. And basically you can just go on there, buy the parts you want. They do weapons packs, or you can buy them individually. And they're good quality. They're not too expensive as well. I think on average they're probably like £1 or $2 per weapon per helmet. So to kit out a figure, you'd probably be looking at maybe £2, $4 to actually kit out a minifigure with just a weapon and the helmet. Then to get all of the minifigure parts, I get all of mine from Bricklink. So Bricklink is basically like eBay but for Lego. So you can go on it, you find a store which is close to you or in your country, which is selling the parts you need basically. So I'll show you here on a screen recording. And basically you can go in and you can choose different parts. So really what you'll be looking for is a torso assembly and minifigure legs assembly, a head, and that's pretty much all you need. Normally the torso assemblies come with hands, so you need a torso assembly, a legs assembly and a head, as I'll show on the video. And I'll show you on my store. So I have a Bricklink store which I sell quite a lot of stuff on, just parts I don't really need. So that's basically where I get from it. That's basically a breakdown of it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want me to do any tutorials on anything else. But thanks for watching.